Hello, everybody. So today I'm going to run a Key 4. Got a couple things I'm working on programming for. Got a couple ideas that I'm trying to change up for the maps on the website, and a couple things I'm doing in the program itself, that the little tracker thing I've got going. So, but I figure I'll run this before I do that. So we got a Key 4. Cancel this out and just make sure that we've got fully repaired 80 ped Key 4 key. And then we're coming in here. This is the last solo. You could do 1 through 4 is solo, and then 5 through 10 is all team keys. So we'll go ahead and do this up. Alrighty. Then you gotta wait a minute for it to load. I may have to use different armor on this just because it's I don't know, this one might be a little rough on this armor. We'll see. It's a fairly simple instance in regards of there's 4 mobs that spawn and then 4 mobs that spawn, and it's just so it's repetitive as hell. So you can skip forward to the end, see what happens after you kind of catch the idea. But you know, for people who are curious to know how it progresses. Now there's a thing on the wall that's kind of like this on the other side, and you'll see it here. So this is the main arena. And after so many, there's going to be a boss that spawns, and then it gives you a choice to kill the boss or kill this little head that's up here. You can kind of barely see it, the gatekeeper. So you can kill the gatekeeper, and it'll end the instance, basically. Wow, these guys are definitely rough here. Got my mining ring, but I don't do the mining ring. I might have done. See how it goes. I don't know why my sound isn't showing there. Let me see if I can pop that up. I don't know what's up with the Entropia sound lately. It's it never wants to go to the right channel. And there used to be a way to select which channel to go to. Maybe this is it. Maybe that's why. There we go. I don't know what music we have here. There we go. Got some music anyway. like only 2 of them come at me when I stand here, so I might be okay with the other one. Oh, that other guy did come. Let me try it. Did the other one die in the... Weird. I think we lost one. So stand here and see if we can avoid that one dude from spawning on us. If we stay a little bit further away. Are those guys dying down there? Oh, interesting. No wonder. Shit. All right, we're gonna have to bring out the other armor. Little tough for this. Do that, and then we'll do this. There we go. Guys, not even letting me get in the arena yet. Well, I wonder. This might just be a good spot to stand. Well, maybe not if they pop down and die trying to get to me. Now they don't want to hit me. Go figure. Although this armor is quite a bit bigger, or better. See what this Legionnaire is. 3,000 stamina. What's this dude? 3,200. Let's keep that open. Might as well skill some scanning. Make sure that you guys can hear that at least. Maybe you guys can't hear it as well as I can. Yeah, it's a little better. Still looks kind of low on the... Yeah, that looks a bit better. I guess we'll find out in the final video here. Got scan animal on them. So they're animals apparently. They're not mutants. I would think they would be more on the mutant end of the spectrum. So I think we're at round, I think it's 10 rounds. And then it doubles, something like that. Okay, so we're at round 4. Maybe it's 5 rounds until the boss, and then it's like an exponential thing. So the higher you go, the more you have to kill between each boss. So like now each round is 4 of them. And I believe the next one will be, each round will be 8 kills. And then each round will be 16 kills. I believe it goes that way. It may be 12 on the third one instead of doubling again. It just may be adding a fourth round, or another 4 mobs every round. It's kind of long to get down to that point anyway. You know, you're usually down. I usually come in with a couple thousand ped of ammo and do 2 rounds, and it's usually pretty decent. 2 bosses, and it's a pretty decent little end loot. And then of course, like, you know, because you can choose how many times you want to go, it will just compound the end result at the end. So so there's a lot of times you can get like a 2,000 ped loot if you come in here with 2,000 ped of ammo. Get a big old HOF. So we'll probably see that at the end here. Hopefully something sexy in it, but I haven't seen too many sexy things inside these yet. It's maybe one of the first times I've done a 4 though, to be honest, because I wasn't quite skilled enough to do a 4 when I was doing videos before. And I certainly didn't have the armor. This armor's like a $11,000, $12,000 armor. It's kind of ridiculous if you think about it. $12,000 armor, you know, like $25,000 weapon. It's ridiculous. I mean, that's not even the healing stuff or there's plates, you know, there's all kinds of crazy shit. Weird. I'm trying to cast shit here, people. These guys used to be a pain in the ass before the automatic firing. You know, the hitbox was really super shitty. Would almost always bug out. So they're a lot easier to do now. But yeah, even with this armor and the, you know, hit points that I have now, it's still kind of a rough. My healing power is a hell of a lot better than it used to be. It's still pretty kind of rough here. I'm walking right into it. Crits sure are nice when it's helps burn them down pretty quick, you know. I was close to a hit point earlier. Almost there. This thing is tearing so slow. 9.26. What I should have done is brought some candy canes in here, because that would make a huge difference and be able to burn down this first dude before the rest of them. But I'm kind of excited to be able to do this. The boss might be a little rough, but I should be able to handle it at this point. We'll see. But as you can see, once you start getting into the higher levels where it's 3 rounds of 4 of these each, and then you got 10 before you get to a mob, so you got, you know, what is that, 3 times 120 of these to kill before you get to that boss. It wouldn't be so bad if it just wasn't so tedious. You know, it's the same thing over and over. So it's round 5. Or maybe I've got it wrong. Maybe it's doing it for every round we're doubling already. I guess we'll find out. Hey, there's another Sloth Global. Global and Uncool Cats. Hope he gets a big fat HOF that I can pay him some tax back. That's my land that I own there, the Isle of Lost Souls. It's actually Lost Avatars. There's this naming thing that they just never wanted to fix. The globals say Lost Souls, the deed and the map say Lost Avatars. So it's kind of goofy. Nice. Sweet. You just got another. I love having Aatrox on my land. I can't even. It puts a smile on my face that I got Aatrox on my land. You know? I don't know. You may not know. But I've been playing this game for 15 years. Aatrox was like it was the enemy mob back then, you know? He'd kick your ass out of nowhere as a noob. You'd just be running along, all of a sudden you get an Aatrox and you're like, fuck. And then you die. And just, there's so much stuff we did back in the day, like naked Aatrox fisting, where we all get naked and do power fists on them in like big groups. They still would kill most of everybody, you know, but it was fun. And now I actually was able to buy the DNA, or make the DNA. And I should have done a video on making the DNA. I was just so excited, though. I really should have done a video on that. That's sweet. I loaded up a bunch of... I like throwing some decay on my land, because it doesn't really matter to me if I lose a little bit on my land. If I'm throwing it in there, somebody's going to get it, you know? I just keep hoping that I don't get it, because there was one day where I had, or 1 week, it was one day I had 7,500, and then the next day I had like 7,000 or something. It was like $700 one day, $750 another day. It's like back to back. And I was hoping, I'd rather have other people getting those. Pay them some tax back. Plus, it's better advertising for the land. If not that it's pretty good recognition anyway when you get a couple offs like that. But I'd rather be other people. It's getting stuck back there, it looks like. I don't know where the best place to be is. Maybe here where they have like a little path to get up, maybe? I don't know. Sure is nice to get those crits early, get this first mob knocked out. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit better on the stairs. Or maybe not. That guy seems to be getting lost. So this is I think it's the third one of round 5. So maybe we are getting to be where it's 4 for every round, and then it doubles to where it'd be 10 for round 5 later. And then I think that's how it works. It's been a while since I did these. Sure would be nice to hit a really nice modifier on one of these one day, though. You know, even like a times 10 would be 20K. I never really see them though, but nobody really runs them, so I'm not sure if that's possible. Or I don't know if it's figuring like maybe this one I kill gets a 4K HOF in it, and then it adds it to the end. I'm not sure how that's calculating, you know. Or if it just takes the total amount and modifies that. Which could be interesting. I mean, if you take a 2,000 ped loot and you do a times 100 on it, and that would be insanely massive, you know? So I can't imagine it works like that, just because that could get out of hand quick. But these are level 60 mobs, so there's a pretty good chance that there's a HOF within killing these many of the level 60s, you know? Couple 100 ped here and there, you know? We'll see how it adds up. And maybe we'll get some sexy loot at the end. It would be nice to see something out of these. I have a feeling it's kind of like... Okay, so we're at the end of 5 and we have a choose your destiny. So we have next round. We've got basically 30 seconds to choose our destiny. So we could destroy the firewall and then we'd be done. Or we can wait and then we kill the boss and then we go another round and then we can choose again. So we'll kill this boss, or we'll try to. See what happens. Oh no, okay. So we don't get... Why does this seem different? So you only get the boss when you choose the end? I guess so. So here we go with another. So it's every 5 rounds you get to choose. But to get to round 10, it's going to be twice as long. And we'll kind of double check that because this is the first round of 4. So it should do another round of 4, and then maybe it would be round 2. So we'll see how that works. And then maybe we're looking at 4 rounds for round 3. So here's a second grouping. More crits on that dude. So I had 1,000 ped of universal ammo, and then like 1,000 ped, and yeah, and then like 990. So once we run out of universal ammo, we'll be at 1,000. So far I burned down what, 600 ped so far. So I guess if you just do one round with the key, you'd probably get like a 500 ped HOF, something like that. All right, so we're on round 1, and we've got, this is the 3rd wave, so this is 12 dudes for round 1. And there's probably something you can do with, you know, burning these guys down there to get ahead somehow. I'm not sure that would really matter much, because it's, you know, the game is mostly input-output based. So, you know, you could spend a bunch of time killing guys to get around ahead, but if you're not putting any damage in on killing those guys, then you're not really going to get much. Much for the time, you know, you're kind of wasting your time. You're losing peds if you're not making, but if you're at a certain level, it gets to that point to where you're losing peds if you're not really spending it. Like this setup for me, for the most part, if I don't run it, it's kind of like I'm losing peds. So kind of got to keep feeding beast. I was going to go kill some cool cats though, because I'm really addicted to my land there, because it's not even because of the taxes. It's just because the loot is so good there, and I have the tax set low enough to where my normal cycle just is that much better. It's almost a whole percent lower than anywhere else, and that makes a huge difference when you're spending $2,000 of ammo a day. You know, just 1% can make a huge difference. But I really like the loot, and the mission there is just so addictive. It's how I'm using this. I think I'm using a Resto 20 right now, unless I'm trying to use one of the older ones. I don't know, I bought so many of the younger ones. So I might be using the 17. Yeah. Okay, I got the 20 loaded up there. Got 2 20s. 17 when I was using. But that mission got me to these 20 chips, and these 20 chips are just amazing. It's better than, I had a mod chip for almost 2 years. I did that whole mission, that Galactica mission, all by myself. Looted all the parts, did all the thing, all the way up to the mod chip, and then, you know, that got my biotropic up quite a bit, but it still wasn't terribly high. It was maybe level 60 or something by the time I sold that chip. And then using that mission, it got me up to where I'm 97, I think, now. Which opens up that last chip. That's all I really need at this point. So this is what, the 4th wave? We got 5, and we're not even to the wave yet. And it seems like we have more fire here. There used to be just 4 little fires. Now there's a couple more. I wonder if that eventually like builds into a ring of... And it's not like you can really recycle the shrapnel that you're getting along the way. You know, that would be kind of nice. If you could at least claim your shrapnel after a round and then keep going. Because otherwise you'd run out of... I mean, you can go... There's a repair. I guess you could just keep buying ammo, but... If you're on a low head, but like right now, most of my stuff is all in loot right now. That I've got either... I don't know, I did a lot of mining. So we got a lot of minerals stacked up. Oh, round 7. Okay, interesting. So yeah, we'll have 7 rounds of these dudes, it looks like, and then... Or 6 rounds of these dudes, and then 7 rounds of these dudes, and then 8 rounds of these dudes, and then... boss again, I think. So we're gonna be here for a while. But for those interested, you know, it might help. Kind of go through it, skip around, do your thing. Probably 5 people in the world that'll ever get to this point of the video. So I appreciate you making it. If there was some kind of prize I could give you for lasting through it, I would. Yeah, I should think about that too. Maybe at some point, randomly in a video, I could say a keyword. And then you can go to the... I don't know how I'd do that. Maybe the first person who saw the keyword in the thing puts their name in the chat. I could say sweet. I could do something like that where I could give away like a F211 or something. People happen to randomly watch through the whole thing. I should think about that. There's so many things I got a bunch of ideas, you know, of like the website, between the website and the program, and then I've got another program I'm working on that's pretty interesting in itself. Had to seal up my attic because I had some critters that were getting in there, and I've got one little spot that I haven't gotten yet, and I think there's a critter getting back in. So at some point later I got to put up a screen over that, or a little one-way door so he can get out but not back in. Look at this dude for a bit. He's Red dudes are dying with their head between their legs. That's a shitty way to die right there. Out of enhancers. What's going on here? Son of a bitch. Burned too many on my land. So we'll have to probably kill it after anyway. After this. Whatever these rounds are going to be. Whenever these rounds are. We're on round 7 now. So I think we got a little ways. So I think round was, so we'll see how that works out. I think round 1 was about 500, 600 ped. Or to get to round 5 was around 600 ped. So we'll probably be looking at 18, I'm guessing we're going to be looking at 1800 ped by the time it's all said and done with this, to get to the second boss. And then you might need like 7,200 ped to get to the third boss. One of these days I might have to try that. That would be a massive off. And who knows what that might trigger, you know? I mean, even if you just trigger like an ESI off of that, if it goes any kind of percentage based off of the thing, get a huge ESI. We shall see. Oh, he's trying to kill me. He's trying to kill me. What the hell? Oh yeah, we're in hell. Probably it. That's probably what the hell is going on. They try to kill you. They want your soul. They want to jab you with their little pokey stick. It's kind of ironic. People in hell, or skeletons in hell, trying to jab you with their pokey stick. But I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get jabbed. I won't do it. Down with your pokey stick. I wonder if there's some fire swords that you can get in the Secret Island instance, or at least that you used to be able to get. I haven't seen them in a while. Sometimes I wonder, you know, because Mind Arc could just cut off a lot of the loot, which would be kind of shitty. It'd be a shitty punishment to the players to cut off a lot of the loot that the Planet Partner has going on. But then again, if he doesn't, you know, if he's not pulling his weight or paying his share or whatever's going on there, I don't know. It's just a shame. So this Hell Key 4 is the last solo key. And then I'm not even sure how big the guys would be in Helki 5, for example, or Helki 6. And I was talking to Harry Hubler, that maybe we should do one of those together. Like a higher Helki, that would be a lot of fun. I have no idea what to expect, though. And if this is already... I mean, we could both probably handle a 5 if it's anything like this for both of us. I know he could certainly handle it. He's got a freaking awesome setup. And there goes our universal ammo. So we're down to 1,000. We're a little over 1,000 ped spent. We're gonna have to make some enhancers after this. It's gonna kind of suck. Kind of hate making them. Ooh, we made it to round 8. Lucky us. 2 more to go. Lots more to kill, though. So what would this be, like 17 more rounds, and we've done 1 plus 2 plus 3 plus... I'll have to do the math on that. It should show us how many we killed at the end anyway. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of programming, kind of research on how I might want to It's kind of why I haven't really released my tracker, because there's a couple things about it that I just don't really... I think it could be done more efficiently. So I've been trying to rethink of how I want to organize setting the data up to the server, to where instead of having to set it up every time, that it would just take the information. Because it, you know, I have it to where it's basically on or off, depending on whether or not you determine that you're doing a hunt. But I want to have it to where it's on always, and then it's always assigning it to some kind of thing based on whatever breaks you take, you know. And then that way, if it's kind of always tracking things in the background, if it's all the enhancers are always being tracked all the time, which they are, but they don't really get updated as it stands unless you're actually doing a tracked hunt. It goes to the server, it just doesn't apply the changes until you do the end of the hunt. So that needs to be redone. But it's fun. Eventually I think I'll have a pretty... I mean, I already have a really awesome product as it is, but eventually it'll be something that'll be... The other thing that I'm working on now is maps, to where we can like draw on our own maps. So you can send somebody a map with a little thing on it. It says this is where I go for this, or this is what I do for that, or this is the whatever. This is my mining map. But yeah, you can see that this gets really tedious. What happened there? Did I not? So we have the healing thing on, but it's not showing the healing buff. Interesting. More enhancers dying on me. I was like critting with that arson shit. So we're an hour into it already. Yeah, this thing's kind of spinning slow because of the low enhancers, and I'm not doing any pills. Because I can usually do about 2,000 pet an hour if I'm pushing it. So right now we're about 1,100 ped. But that's the one thing about enhancers is, you can burn ped faster, so you get a faster cycle when you're using enhancers. That's why I like using them. It makes everything go faster. Plus, when you're getting near 100% return all the time, it might as well, if you're getting 2,000 ped to loot, there's a good portion of that's some markup, so you just get more markup per hour, basically. And not all of it's going to be markup, there's a lot of it that's going to be shrapnel, some of it's going to be crap, some of it's going to be junk, But if you're smart, you can take a lot of that basic stuff that's 101%, and you can cycle it up and over and into the 140s. Even, there's a lot of stuff on Rocktropia where I can turn it around and get 400%, get 200% really easy. And they sell quick. Anytime I list them, they're gone. So there's ways to roll up into really high percentages with just little bits of your loot, and that makes a big difference. If only 10% of your, if you've got 10% of your loot that's getting 400%, and you're already getting like a 99% return, you're in the money. That's all it needs. Just that little bit of your return that you can magnify into profit. That's where it all comes from. On the hunting scale, anyway, that's pretty much the way to do it. And then crafting is pretty much the machine of hunting and mining. So for crafting, you're going to be basically, it's what feeds the demand for all the stuff that we hunt and we mine. And it gives it purpose, gives it value, gives it something to convert. And then, with crafting, it's pretty amazing how many things you can convert into markups that you wouldn't even think people would pay. But then again, there's people paying markup on Air Matrix all the time, and there's so many components in Air Matrix that are part of that are even basic, but because they're so basic and they're so time consuming to do, the big crafters don't want to waste time clicking those. They want to click the guns, So they would rather buy at a high percentage the crappy stuff that it might be 6 ped TT worth of stuff, but if they can get another ped for it, that ends up being 140% or 130% when you get 9. If you got something that's 6 and you can charge 9 ped for it, then you're 150% return. And really, the main crafter, what they're doing with something like that is that even though they're paying such a small amount for like a chunk of small materials, even though they're paying 150%, they're saving the time of taking away from the higher percentage stuff that they can do. So there's a little bit of a market there for the smaller players that truly exists because of the fact that it's not worth it to click that stuff that only might get you 9 ped for the hour, to where for a noob that might be great to be able to get 150% return for clicking stuff out for an hour while they're doing stuff AFK or whatever they're doing. Then if you can get 150% off of that hour and you're okay with doing that, everybody kind of wins in that kind of scenario. Because for the crafter that's making 150, that's selling the 160% AR matrix, if they're spending all their time clicking those small items that's only got 9 ped of value, that can only give them 3 ped of markup for the hour, when they can click 3 or 4 guns and get like 120 ped for the hour, there's a huge difference on the value of time at that point, of what it's worth to craft things. So that's why those things have a demand and actually have. It seems to work pretty well overall. But there's a lot of people who don't want to do the crafting thing, and it's kind of a shame because the game really requires you to play the whole full scale. If you really want to win with it, you got to mine your own materials, you got to hunt your own materials, then you got to craft that stuff into markups that other people are going to buy. That's the ultimate way to win. But more often than not, people will hunt for markup on their hunting, and then they sell it to a crafter who makes the markup on their hunting. Crafter didn't really do much other than pay them a little bit of markup. But more often than not, that crafter is going to be able to take that little bit of markup they paid the hunter and magnify it even more. So it's kind of a shame when hunters do that or when miners do that, because when they sell their markup, if they're not looking at what they could be making with that, if they just took the time to start crafting and working with it, But it's a huge investment, so I don't, blame anybody for that. But it's that would be the way, that's the way I do it. There's a lot of people that try to, hey, I've got a bunch of minerals, do you want to buy them? And I wish I could say yes, I wish I could say, yeah, I'll buy all your stuff. I'm glad you're out there looting stuff, but that's how I design my account. I go out and loot my own stuff. If I'm not out there looting my own stuff, I have to pay the markup, and then I'm losing, So the unfortunate part about that is, even though there's a lot of people that have stuff they want to sell me, I would like to buy their stuff, but it's kind of dumb for me to do that when I've got all the gear in mining. I've got, top end gear in mining and hunting to be able to do all that stuff at the very cheapest on my own, cheaper than anybody else. Plus I get skills at a faster rate than anybody else, the 99% of the game. And that's a huge component of the game that people don't. That's a huge component that people really also don't factor in when they consider the return. Is, your skill rate. Is your skills are basically your compensation for your time if you sell them. But most people don't even think about it, so they never sell them, and they pile up. And by the time they think about selling them, boy, to get rid of all those skills at a certain point, it becomes so ridiculously hard. Like, I can try to chip out all my pyro, and I could buy every ESI for the next year on the auction. Just buy it out. Every time I saw a few pages of auction, I could buy ESIs for the next year, and I might be able to chip out all of my pyro if I did that for a year. That's how ridiculous it gets. And that's just one skill. There's like 500 skills or however many hundred skills that are into the equation, or a couple hundred skills that are into the equation, that those can be sold too, so it's a huge thing that people neglect, and it's in Mind Dark's favor because more often than not, it's just a psychology thing. More people won't take the time to do it, and it's a human thing. Humans don't want to. Humans will do certain things until it becomes work, and then they give up on it. And a lot of times, to where that's the advantage Mind Dark has, is more often than not, people don't want to take the time to sell their skills. They don't want to bother with it, even though it's their money, even though it's their time, their investment, but they don't want to bother with it because it's such a pain in the ass. You got to wait. You got to try to find a buyer, and all that's true. But at the same time, when you find a buyer, you just got compensated for your time. That's why I've been selling skills for the last 10 years. So even though I've got all these skills, I've been selling the whole time. That's one of the biggest reasons that I'm not one of those guys that's out there. You see a lot of the big names where they talk about how good they're doing, but they're always looting rings and shit from boxes that clearly is not at a not deposit level. Clearly they're pouring money into the game. So it's it can be a little misleading sometimes, because there's a lot of people who you'd think they must be doing awesome because they have this massive gun and they're always looting some cool things, but you don't know how much they spend. You don't know how much they're putting into the game to cover for whatever losses they have. And there's a lot of people that, they may have some top end gear, but they're not using it the right way. And they're too stubborn to step back and think about it or change their ways, so they just keep putting money into the game, which that's okay. It feeds the game. But that's the advantage that Mind Dark has, is that by and large more people are going to be stubborn and not do the research on their own, and that's where they win by numbers, because it's a very small percentage that will actually go down into the numbers and try to figure out what's going on. More people just want to play the game and try to win the luck, even though it's a computer system. It's an inputs, outputs, it's ones and zeros. It's all stuff that can be derived if you look at it right. And people just don't want to take the time to do it, It's kind of fascinating to me because it's real cash money. When I started this game, it was poverty, true poverty. I mean, food stamps, couldn't afford anything, didn't have any money, Started the game because it was free and because of the chance, And I've done really well with this game. It's changed my life, completely changed my life. But that's not to say that it didn't require the work. I would say that the only reason that it changed my life and it hasn't changed everybody else's life in the game is because I don't know of anybody else who's looked into the game as much as I have. And that's the truth. I don't know very many people who have gone through the trouble of trying to go through a database trying to figure out how the database structure works, to try to figure out how the items might be related to other things, to try to relate how our skills might be related to, nobody else really goes into that depth of trying to figure it out. They just want other people to figure it out. And more often than not, when somebody puts a theory on the forums, it's the theories that get approved the most are the ones that are by the ones that people perceive to be the most successful, but it's a perception. They're not necessarily the most successful because there's not anybody other than myself that I know of that's ever posted at the highest level of the game what their deposits are other than me. Like, I'm the only guy that's posted that where I'll just show these are what my deposits are. And nobody else will do that because I'm pretty sure that their deposits are extreme, and they know it, because if you play this level and you're not smart about it, you're going to be spending a lot of money. There's just no way around it. Either you got a lot of money to spend or you're just really pushing it. But it can be done to where you're like where I'm at, where you don't need to have to feed it, If you're careful with it, it can feed you. But there's such a small percentage of the game it gets at that even goes to the lengths to try to figure out how to even turn the table, other than maybe going to forums and waiting for somebody else to come up with the answer. That's the difference, is that the people who actually get to open up a spreadsheet file, start putting down the numbers. There's a small percentage of the game that does that. The rest will wait for the guy who puts the stuff in the spreadsheet, who comes to the forums and says, hey, look what I found. And they'll be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Okay, I'll adopt that theory because it makes sense to me, even though I didn't verify it for myself. I didn't, it's an interesting thing on how we adopt our own. And there's a confirmation bias thing that kind of happens too when you have a theory and somebody else posts a theory that might be, maybe their math is wrong a little bit, but if it makes sense to your own theory of what you think is going on without looking at the numbers, then you'll just say, oh yeah, that just confirms everything I knew, so therefore I must be right, And there's a danger with that, because you can get to where you fool yourself, and then before you know it, you're wondering, why am I losing all the time? I'm sure that everything I'm doing is right, and obviously something you're doing is not right if you're losing, So the more you lock yourself down into a bad theory, it's just that much longer of potentially losing your pets, It's just that much longer of not getting it to the point of getting to where you're actually saving your peds or being more sensible about them or whatever it is. It just prolongs that period to where you figure it out. Kind of like when I was coming up, with BLP, I wasted a lot of stuff. Not that it wasn't fruitless. I did a lot of events, so I did a lot of DK-based play. But that was to win events, and I won a lot of events, and that helped mitigate a lot of the costs on the side when other players are paying rewards. That really adds up. I mean, big. They paid me 10,000 peds a few times, just from doing little events on the side as I was growing up, and that adds up. That adds up huge. 10,000 ped on the side for doing hunting for a couple months. When you've lost 10,000 ped is huge, because it's all comes back at you, and it's not like it's coming out of your return. It's some other player that's paying you. And there's a lot of people that would rather I think landowners are just out there to get my tax. Well, yeah, that's true, but they're paying a lower tax and they're giving you a benefit, and that's what people don't get. Is you're non-taxed, you're still paying 5% tax. There's still a tax there. It just doesn't show. That's the only difference. You don't know what the tax is. A landowner, they state their tax. This is what my tax rate is, and I'm going to give you a bonus for every global you get, or 10% tax back, or whatever it is. You don't get that on non-tax. So it's better to go to a land area because you're lower in tax and they give benefits. It's a huge problem that I think, because people don't understand the taxes, that they put themselves into that bias of, I'm never going to go pay Why would I pay a land area? Because I'll lose more pet. But, well, if you look at the numbers, you'll find out, you actually don't lose more pet. You make more pet, and then you're like, whoa, wait a minute, what's going on here? Everything's wrong that everybody told me. But it's only until you do that, until you figure it out, and then it's like, oh shit, those people I thought were conspiracy theorists, right? All the conspiracy theorists of all the latest stuff that's going on. Well, now here we are a year later. They're not conspiracy theorists anymore. They're the guys that were right the whole time, So but you don't know until you get the facts. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. If you don't look at the facts, you're going based off of somebody else's opinion, who you don't know if they have the facts or not. You don't know. And more often than not, people they don't actually have the facts behind them. They'll say they have the facts behind them because they want to be right, but they don't actually have the facts behind them. And that's the big problem with a lot of, even the data in the game. There's a lot of people buy weapons based off of a DPP value that they think comes with the weapon. Well, the DPP value doesn't come with the weapon. It comes to the player. The player modifies that. The player modifies that to the weapon. So everybody, buys a weapon thinking it's a certain DPP. Well, that's great. If you're totally maxed on and everything, then that number is going to matter. But if you're not, then that number is not that number. It's just not that number, And the further you are away from being able to max out the rest of your other things like the buffs and the other things that are involved, or the skills or whatever's involved, until you max those things out, you're further away from that number. The further you are from maxing it out. And that's a huge mistake a lot of new players make, because they think, oh, I read on the internet that I have, 4.2 DPP is going to win, because that's what this guy said who had 4.2 DPP, and he said I won, and so if I get this gun, I'm going to win. And then they get the gun and they figure out that I'm not winning. Well, why am I not winning? And then they have to go sell the gun at maybe a loss because they don't know why. It just didn't work out for them. And the real down and dirty of it is they just don't have enough skills. They don't have the right buffs for it. They don't have the same parameters that the other person had to use with that weapon to give it that number that they got. And there's a lot of variables that change, that modify that DPP number. So it's not ever going to really be the same until you get to that same exact level and maxing. But that's the vastness of the game gives it to where it's almost like impossible to match somebody else's exact return on a particular weapon because of all the variables that are involved. So you kind of almost have to look at it as, where am I in the game that justifies whether or not I can use this weapon? And that's ultimately the better way to look at it, is not so much as, can I get a weapon right now that'll give me to the end game? Because that's not the kind of game this is. You're not going to get to the end game until you get the skills for the end game. That's the ultimate point, You can get to the end game and you can spend, but if you don't have the skills, you spend that much more. When you go to the end game, you're spending more peds. And if you're not efficient, that's that much more loss compounded, ultimately, when you don't have the skills. So, you could spend 20,000 ped a week, and then if you don't have the skills, there's a good thousands of ped that are going to be lost just on the fact that you're not efficient enough. You're not going to be, you're not going to be getting a full return. So it's an interesting... there's a lot of interesting misconceptions, that people have with games like this, and there's other games too that are like it, but that's kind of where we were at round 10 already. We gotta kill a bunch of these dudes, and then we get the boss, which is good because we're running out of ammo. Which I kind of wonder if I could damage this thing, because I don't know if I have. I don't know if the hit points in that would really suck if the hit points go up before the. If I can't kill that thing with the DPS I have before the 30 seconds comes up, and then you have to kill the boss, that would really suck. So I'm gonna go run over there real quick and see if I can pre-damage it, maybe. But I don't know. I mean, I'm a little bit different too, because I've grown up doing a spreadsheet for all my games. You know, that's how I game. To me that's what you do. You know, you got to figure out the numbers, or else everybody else is gonna beat you. Yeah, I'm not sure if I. Oh, okay. So I can almost destroy the gatekeeper. And then we'll... Ooh, over there. Now, what is that? Oh, there's a trader there, so if I need more ammo. Not that I have the peds for it, but... do this real quick before I get these guys on me. Yeah, it seems like these guys get more like the fire moves around on them or something every time they spawn. Which I might have to go buy some ammo, because I don't think I have any. Yeah, 200 pet. We probably have. Probably have enough, but we're already at 1,700 pet of. Spent stuff. At an hour and 20 minutes. So this is a long video. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I haven't been streaming as much because I've got just a lot of crap going on, but and then I don't know, you know, when the stream end, people want the music, and then you put it on YouTube, and YouTube's like, we're gonna give everything you did to somebody else because yeah, music. Not that it matters, you know, not like I'm making money on YouTube doing this stuff. I'm just doing it to spread the knowledge a little bit. I know, you know, there's people that are curious on how these work, and who knows? Maybe we loot, you know, 500,000 ped. We hit the record books. And I was recording it, and then it'll be all right. Not that that's ever going to happen, but we can dream. So this is the first time I've ever done the Hell Key 4. But this kind of sucked that I don't have the damage enhancers all maxed out because it would go a little quicker. A little bit better crits, a little bit better, a little bit quicker kills. But oh well, we're almost there. But you can see going another round would be probably another 2,400 ped just to get to round 15. So that would put you at like 5,500 ped for 3 rounds, something like that. And then you'd probably be at another 4,500 ped, so you'd be at like 10k at 4 rounds. Which would be pretty crazy. Might be worth doing sometime though. That'd be like 5 hours of just killing shit, you know? Killing these guys. It'd be... It's a shame there's not a mission for these, you know? That's the... If they had a mission mob in here. We might be light on the boss, though. Like, we might kill these guys, but I might need to back up to the boss. This is shit. What do I got? 100 pet in that. Yeah, I guess I'll buy 200 pet ammo and hope that does it. That should do it, I hope. You could probably stand back here and pull one by one. All those dudes. Which might not be a bad thing if I need my ammo, you know? Although, if it came down to it, I've got melee weapons. We got a couple thousand pet of melee weapons we could throw at them. We could club them to death. Club his face off. Or we could arc spark him. Or if we had to, we could explosive him in the face. Rocket the face. See how much ammo I have in that. Yeah, I have 300 pet of rocket to the face. We're good. And we're probably at like 100 and... I don't know, these guys probably are taking some decay. So we're probably at like 120, 130 pet of decay for all this. But we should have this bastard killed off here soon. I don't know if I ever really looked it up. Yeah, interesting. So we're 2,200 pet of ammo in. What we bought anyway, or what we brought to the table. One of these days, we're going to kill that boss. Or it's going to kill us. I wonder why that is, that all these little fires are... I wonder if that's just like a bug of... It's like a new fireplace for every spawn or something. Kind of looks like it. Skill boost. Ooh, that's a nice one. 264. Next 8 minutes. A lot of skill green. I like it. Please, guys, don't kill me. Alright, well, I think we're pretty close. I don't know if this was the one, but we should be 1 or 2 rounds away. I see there's like 2 dudes that spawned right there. Don't kill my buff, you bastards. Might have to bring out my melee weapons because this is not looking good. We're now at 2,000 ped spent. Just in case. Oh, okay. So maybe we won't need it. I'll choose my destiny. I'm gonna kill this dude. Oh, he's only level 53. I thought he'd be a little bigger than that. He's got 5,000 hit points. Gatekeeper's a little weak, considering those other dudes. He's weaker than his minions. What a weak bastard. I'm gonna kick your ass, dude. Gatekeeper of hell. Here you go. We're gonna kill you. That's right. That's the treasure. I wonder if there's anything in there that's worth. You never know. Yeah, there we go. 1900 ped. And that's it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate you. I got a thing here, but yeah, have a good day. Thanks for watching. Forgoification on YouTube, Forgo TV on Twitch. Have a good day. Thanks for watching.